future. During our conversations with businesses, which have been from all sorts of different industries, this has really been hammered home to us, and the future way of working is definitely a blend of home working and office working, with benefits coming from both, really. I was certainly quickly made aware, even in the same organisations, that attitudes to kind of working from home varied massively. I spoke to a number of people from a London-based law firm. One of them was a senior partner who was thoroughly enjoying working from home. He had no commute, he had a spare room in his lovely large house that he converted into an office, and was certainly enjoying the headspace and thinking time that being out of the office gave him. He had his network of clients sorted out, he was well established, and he knew everyone in the company. Equally, I spoke to a trainee solicitor of the same firm who was living in a flat in Southfields with 4 other people. He'd gone from working long hours in a vibrant office with a couple of hours of post-work entertainment and socialising around the to sharing domestic Wi-Fi and a kitchen table with 4 other people. To say he wasn't keen to get back to the office would be an understatement. So as I say, the conclusion is the future of work is going to be a balance between allowing people to work in the office place and allowing people to work from home. And if you're not offering this, you really aren't going to be able to recruit new people. Again, I've spoken to a number of my friends who've started new jobs during the pandemic. And they've really found that the ability to do a bit of both is going to be great in the future. Some of the downsides of working 100% of home is that they had no feeling of the cult, or they had a less of a feeling of the culture of a business, and also how various different people in the business kind of fit together. So they're certainly looking forward to kind of getting back, even though they've started from 100% working remotely. So this leads you to kind of where we sit. If you've got people in a pandemic who are sat working at home and they feel nice and safe, and they're basically saying that 80% of them aren't going to carry on 100% working from home, at some point you're going to have to get people back together. You get collaborative working is definitely works better in the office, and so does innovation. So to get people back together, how do you bring them back in an environment where they feel safe? And with this, we're using a technology that Richard mentioned earlier, incorporates biometrics. Essentially, we start from a position where each individual employee has a biometric account, like a digital passport. We verify their identity, and from them they then report various different things on a daily basis. So how they're feeling, whether or not they've had a test, whether or not they've had a vaccine going forward, how they're feeling from a health from a wellness point of view, so that when they come back into these shared workspaces, that everybody knows that they're coming from an environment where everybody's ticked the same box. I don't think you can underestimate the worry that employees have of getting back into a shared workspace. Some of the learnings that we've had from dealing with some of our businesses is whilst homework has definitely had lots of benefits, around 18% of people have said that enforced home working has had a negative impact on their mental health. This has led to a shift which hopefully is going to be here to stay post-COVID, as businesses take a more active role in managing employees' health and wellness. Technology can be here to provide an indicator of wellness and happiness of your staff. For example, we ask a simple daily question of how employees are feeling. This allows organisations to see trends within their staff, but also get insights into things like how happiness is different between home workers and office workers. One of the main upsides of office working is the ability to share information. And again, we've learned from some of our staff how they're using this to collaborate online and recreate some of the things which an office does create for them. We've dealt with a large accountancy firm who've a regular intake of graduates each year. They spent the majority of time working from home, and as they've spent the time doing that, they've been exposed to a lot more online learning courses. Despite this, when they're benchmarks, they found that they were behind previous year's intakes in certain areas. It's the organic trickle down of knowledge from senior partners to the rest of the firm that has a massive benefit. Many of the professionals I've spoken to cited that seeing how a senior partner acts with clients is probably more important than the content of the meetings itself. To mitigate this, we work with companies who are instigating online mentoring and shadowing to ensure that employees share knowledge, and people also have a greater understanding of what their co-workers do. This kind of environment is also fantastic for knowledge sharing. I recently took part in an online session arranged for the staff of the firm I mentioned above. It was held at lunchtime, and it was apparent that people dropped in on an informal basis, often with sandwiches in hand. The speakers are on different topics. It gives them both internal and invited guests. The host kept people on their toes by asking some questions, and it really did give a good opportunity for people to come together and kind of learn from that. I do think an important thing, though, is not only creating collaborative spaces or trying to recreate that, because hopefully in the future, when people get back into the office, they'll have that as part of their working space. It is important that managers take time to actually take time one-to-one with people and spend some time actually looking at things that aren't formal work, and really spend time kind of understanding their staff. It's clear that firms need to offer both home and office-based solutions in the future. If we continue to be unprecedented times at the moment, and whilst the pandemic is not going to disappear, we've distributed 3 million vaccines, and rapid testing is becoming more and more available. So hopefully it's possible to see light at the end of the tunnel. We've all been forced to operate from home more than the office over the last 9 months, and it's important when we are allowed by the government that we encourage employees that want to get back into the office, but also give them the flexibility to do both. As I mentioned earlier, anxiety of employees coming back into the office, really shouldn't be underestimated. And I'm sure a lot of work's been done in your firms to install a number of physical measures to ensure that people feel safe.